Right. 27 September 2024. And today I'm very excited to be giving you this update on a Friday. And I normally do this so that we've got clarity every night before we go to bed. Because things move so fast in our country. And if you don't understand what is going on, one day you're going to wake up and you have lost a lot of money, or you have lost your life. That is what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. We're getting into a very dangerous period. And I've been telling all of you for the past few months that the ZIG is going to crash, that the ZIG is fake, that the ZIG is going to drop parabolically, and that by December, the ZIG will be down to zero. And I guess now all of you believe what I say when I'm telling you about the ZIG. I worked in the Zimbabwe banking sector, and I worked in the Zimbabwe banking sector for 7 years. And I was a senior manager when I left Zimbabwe. In 2006, there is a room in every bank called a dealing room. Those who know what I'm talking about, they know. The dealing room is the engine room of a bank. That is where everything happens. That is where the balance sheet of a bank is discussed, the funding position, the liquidity, all those things. If you don't understand what happens in the dealing room or in treasury, then you don't understand banking. So the problem with the guys at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they don't understand what happens in the banks. They think they do. Some of them are participants in what is happening in the dealing rooms. However, they don't understand the broader economy. And I'm not talking here about not understanding as guessing. So many people have been in those positions at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. They are a problem. When Mushayavan got into office, what is the first thing that I said he must do? I said he must fire the deputy governors, he must fire all the senior managers, he must fire everyone in bench supervision, and he must fire his own secretary. That's John Mangunja's secretary. And make sure that he fires even the guards, the people who guard the doors at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. This is because all the problems that you're seeing right now, they are caused by two things: lack of information and conflicts of interest within the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. The problems that you are seeing now are caused by people inside the bank, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, and players in the banking sector. The banking sector of Zimbabwe is a corrupt cartel. So there is a cartel in the banking sector of Zimbabwe. And Mnangagwa and the guys at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they don't know what to do. They do not know how much money was there the day before the ZIG and how much money is there the day after the ZIG. They don't know where all this money is coming from. The money that is being dumped into the market, if you ask them, show us where all this money is coming from, they do not know. So the poor person who waits for a salary is going to suffer. And this is what is going to drop Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa's government is going to drop within the next 3 months. And you can take your calendar and mark this day, 27 September. I said to you, in 3 months' time, Mnangagwa's government is going to be done. So that is October, November, December. By the end of December, 31 December, Mnangagwa will not be in office. I am confidently telling you this because I know what is going to happen. It's called a parabolic. A parabolic is when a currency starts moving in one direction and there is no one who wants to buy it. So in a market of currency, there are buyers and sellers. And what happens is this. So let me show you a picture. I like to show pictures so that you understand what I'm talking about. So in each market, there are buyers and sellers. And when they agree, there is stability. So the currency stops where they agree. However, in Zimbabwe, we have reached a point where there are only sellers of the ZIG. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if you look at a graph, right? I've drawn a graph. I've been sitting here drawing my graph. At first, we're 13. Then we stayed at 13 for a while. Then it went down a little bit. it gained value. Remember when Mnangagwa and this guy said it gained value? Yes. Then it shot up in the black market, and then it went down a little bit, and then it shot up to around 18, and then it went down after Mnangagwa arrested a lot of people, and it stayed there. Now it has shot up 5 times. So the move is 3, 5, and then we're going to go to around 12. So I said that the ZIG is going to go to 90. So 90 within a very short space of time. And when we talk of a parabolic, it happens very, very quickly. So a parabolic is continuous, and it is characterized by a shortage or lack of liquidity. So there will be no liquidity on the market. And when I talk of lack of liquidity, it's on the 19th of September, which is exactly 8 days ago. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe injected 100 million. That money was wiped out within a day. It was gone. There was nothing left. So in Zimbabwe, the demand for forex is probably 1 billion a week right now. If what I'm thinking is correct, there is a lot of demand. And where is this money going? The money is fleeing the country. So this is money that is going and not coming back. No one has confidence in the market. And when people are fleeing the country, they take at whatever rate is available. That means it's a seller's market, or what do you call that? Yes, a seller's market. The buyers who are going outside the country are just dumping. So they're dumping the money, they're leaving the country. These are big players who are leaving the country, and they're living with their money. And eventually what you're going to see is Mnangagwa is going to try to pay the people better. So the soldiers, the police, is going to try to pay them better in the local currency, the ZIG. And it will become a cascade. So you're going to have so much ZIG in the market and no corresponding US dollar, because you need the US dollar to buy the goods which people are buying ZIG. And it's a vicious cycle, and it's a dance to the death. Mnangagwa is going to be out of office by December, and he's not going to be removed by ordinary people. He's going to be removed by his friends, people in his own group, people that normally support Mnangagwa. They're going to be so hungry that they'll be forced to remove Mnangagwa. And what we're going to see, as I've been predicting, is that we're going to have a transitional authority or a transitional system for the next 10 years up to 2035, leading up to fresh elections in 2040. Do not expect stability in the short term. Expect massive volatility within the next 3 months to a year. You're going to see massive volatility, and you're going to see Mnangagwa losing control, totally losing control. Mnangagwa is no longer in control of the situation. And the key players who are supposed to be speaking, they don't speak. You don't see the Minister of Finance coming out. You don't see the Reserve Bank Governor coming out. You see a little paper here. You see a little bit of paper over there. That's because they don't know what to say. Everything they say turns out to be lies. So after a week, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe said we'll put 100 million. After a week, that whole money means nothing. So they do not know what is going on. They don't understand the situation. And that is why we're going to see a collapse. Now, I want to go to what you should do on a personal level. So I want you to look at what has been proposed. I know most of you have not read that statement by Mnangagwa. I read that statement, and it makes a lot of changes in people's lives. So let's see what Mnangagwa has done here to increase the bank policy rate from 20% to 35%. So that is an increase of interest rate. Makes no sense. If you've got no debt, you don't care. To increase and standardize the statutory reserve requirements for demand and core deposits for both in local and foreign deposits from 15% to 20%. Makes no sense to you if you're not a bank. To allow greater exchange rate flexibility in line with the increased demand for foreign currency in the economy. That will never, ever happen. If Mnangagwa was to allow the rate to float today, you are going to see a thing that you've never seen. Because the banks are sitting on millions and billions of fake ZIG. Their balances in the systems are sitting with so much fake money. And what banks are doing, because they know that the ZiG is going to crash, they are printing even more fake money and dumping it into the market, knowing that they'll eventually fix the books. And if you go and audit them after a few years, everything will be fine. The whole banking system worldwide is the bigger player in the banking market. They are the manipulators. However, the difference in Zimbabwe is we've got weak supervision, we've got a weak Reserve Bank. The guys at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe do not know what to do. And I've been telling you this for how long? Mushayavan, I'm sure in his office, when he gets in, his ears ring the word parabolic. And that I say here almost every week. Because a parabolic is what is happening right now in Zimbabwe. There is no currency in the world which is doing what the Zimbabwe currency is doing. And the implications for inflation are crazy. So when we talk of inflation, inflation just also moves parabolically. When it starts going, it goes. And those guys who lived in Zimbabwe during the time when I was there, between 2001 and 2008, they understand. There will be a day when your salary can only buy one loaf of bread. That has happened to me. One day I was in Botswana. My salary went into my bank. And my wife called me and said, our car battery was gone with a little Nissan. And I said, okay, you can go and buy a battery. She went with my whole salary and swiped one battery for a car. That is what is going to happen to the ordinary person in Zimbabwe. And the kind of solutions that Mnangagwa are producing, they won't work. When you want to fix the problem in Zimbabwe, you need to be holistic. What do I mean holistic? You go to the higher timeframes. What is the higher timeframes? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. That is higher timeframe. Don't make a decision based on 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. That is where the Reserve Bank is sitting. That is where Mnangagwa is sitting. You cannot think that way. And that is why people are fleeing the country. When you talk of 2030, 2028, those kind of things are driving away investors. So you don't have fresh money coming in. The money that you are seeing coming into Zimbabwe is hot money. So you send your mom $50 and she'll immediately take that $50 and jump into a bus and go to South Africa or to Zambia and buy something to eat. There is no production in the economy of Zimbabwe. So when you talk of higher timeframes, you need something that will make the buyers sellers. So I said to you that in the market of forex, there are buyers and sellers. And the buyers right now are buying US dollars. They are living with the US dollars. You want those guys to sell. You want them to sell the dollars and buy the ZiG. At the moment, it makes no sense for someone to do that. How do you make someone a seller? Firstly, you have massive infrastructure projects, high-speed rail. I'm always talking about high-speed rail, planned cities, those kind of things. At the moment, there's nothing happening in the country. There is no one with capacity to turn the rocks or the granite that is Zimbabwe to cement, take the steel that is at Malaysia, and put those things together and make roads, make a city, make lights. So there is no capacity in the country. When you walk in the center of Harare, it's like a growth point. All you see is shops selling commodities. So you need to move your economy from a commodity economy to a service economy and to an infrastructure economy. You need to see a bunch of different projects happening in the country. No one wants to do that in our country. You also want people to visit your country. So people to want to come to your country. You want people to spend money. You want innovation to take place in the country. At the moment, everyone who finishes their degree wants to leave the country. No tourist wants to be seen in Zimbabwe. The only place where tourists are going is Victoria Falls. So there is a re-engineering that is required in the economy. And that is what Mnangagwa is unable to do. It's so simple. You can easily do this. I was seeing Chamisa's proposals today. I wanted to laugh. I'm going to analyze Chamisa's proposals that he put. If you've got the independent newspaper, you can go and read the proposal by Chamisa. I don't believe that is Chamisa until I see him talking. I won't believe that that is Nelson Chamisa. Some of the proposals that people are making right now, they don't make sense because people don't understand. Zimbabwe is going to do very, very well, but it won't do very well under this kind of thinking. So it's the kind of thinking that you need to change. The whole country needs to be re-engineered. You need to make a first world country, and you need to do that rapidly. So that is rapid development, a rapid development program, and that is what is needed in our country. But you can't do it under Mnangagwa. You need a new system. You need a transitional system. And then after a transitional system, you need an injection of money. You need foreigners to come back into the country. And you need to change the way we think about what is our economy of Zimbabwe and who owns it. So what is the last proposal here? To reduce the amount of foreign currency an individual can take out of the country from 10,000 to 2,000. So they get the idea that the money is fleeing, but they're wrong about who is fleeing with the money. The money is not fleeing on a pocket, 10,000, 20,000. No. The money is fleeing in a sophisticated manner. The money is not arriving. It is coming on paper, but the actual money is not there. So what you're getting is paper money that goes into your country. But big people are managing to get that money and send it out. It's not the small guys who are getting the money. And anyway, why would someone take out of $10,000? The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe need to think, why are people taking out money out of the country? So the kind of thinking that is needed here is almost what Professor, I don't know if it's Professor or Dr. Giftum Gano has said this afternoon. If you go to Twitter, I was watching very carefully what he proposed. I think it's Professor Giftum Gano. This is very simple. You need a new government, and you need Mnangagwa to understand that this will not change. So guys like me, we don't hate Mnangagwa. The reason why I know so much economics is because I've got a Master of Business Leadership. This is the first course I studied in school, economics and finance. So I studied finance at Harvard. Harvard, you know, say Harvard, America. I never went there. I went to this place called Coursera, and there was a professor there at Harvard who was issuing a 6 months course in economics. Do those kind of things, give those courses to the guys at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, so that they understand how to calculate an asset and what will happen to an asset in future and at present and so forth. Those are the kind of things that is happening to the ZiG, how the currencies move in waves, and what are the 3 legs of a currency. So those are very simple things that you need to understand. But beyond that, you need to understand how to create a new economy and grow it, and then to develop a country which has got consensus. So at the moment, Zimbabwe lacks consensus. People do not love each other. People are fighting each other on a daily basis. And this fighting and pulling each other is what is bringing us down. So these solutions that have been proposed by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they make no sense. It's not going to help. The only thing that we're going to see is the back of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is going to leave. He's going to be gone very, very soon. And the people that are going to remove him are the same people that I said are going to remove him in December. In December last year, I already told you, maybe I'm saying December, it was not December, but before he changed the currency, I said Mnangagwa's government was going to fall within 4 weeks. And indeed, within 4 weeks, they had to change the currency. Right now, where we are, he cannot change the currency again. No one is going to accept a new currency in Zimbabwe. So what we're going to see is the abandonment of the ZiG. So within the next 3 months, the first thing you're going to see is the total abandonment of the ZiG by Mnangagwa. He's going to abandon it, go back to the US dollar. That is the only thing that can save Mnangagwa for a while. He's going to breathe for a while. But he still has to find US dollars to pay the employees, which is the thing that I was trying to solve. He still has to deal with the issue of change. We have massive problems in Zimbabwe that are going to circle, and they will not end until we have a new government, until we see the back of Mnangagwa, until we have high-speed rail, until we've got infrastructure projects, planned cities, and a military-led development strategy with a military planned city, where each soldier has got 2 houses, one in the village one in the city, and one in the planned city. Very simple. I say this on a daily basis. I think most of you now understand what I'm talking about. We've got a country that is not mobile. So all our people are spending hours and hours waiting to go into the bus, waiting to go to Chitungwiza, waiting to go to the village. It takes hours and hours. The economy is not connected. So money which is in Chinhoyi stays in Chinhoyi, money which is in Mutare stays in Mutare, money which is in Gweru stays in Gweru. You need a country where people move swiftly from one place to another through a connected rail system. And you need a country where everyone is a participant in the economy through high-speed internet. At the moment, there are people who have never seen any internet, people who have never connected. And thank God we've got Starlink now. We'll be able to get new people who come on this internet. So I like it when I'm right, and I'm right more often than not. Ask Mnangagwa about the Great Zimbabwe and the Bermuda Triangle. He understands when Gambakwe speaks, must listen, because within the next 3 months, Mnangagwa will be out of office. Right, let's look at the comments. Zimbabweans must stand up like in Kenya. Mkoma mlele kimlisa. I doubt it. I remember I went to Zambia. I said to guys, don't demonstrate in Zimbabwe, you'll be killed. Mnangagwa did not kill people. He arrested people and locked them up. Right now, we've got people who've been in jail for over 90 days. There is not a lot of Zimbabweans who have even spoken up. Our people are not that kind of people who stand up against anything. The people that are going to stand up are the usual people that you know, people that have a gun. And those are the only people that are going to stand up. A normal person is going to be quietly watching and suffering. They are not going to do anything. And then Mkoma Paridzai, Perino says, Gambakwe, real boxers surrender when beaten. They surrender before they lose their teeth. I understand Mkoma, and it's said. Sometimes you see me talking here, and you think these things have not personally affected me. I've lost thousands and thousands in Zimbabwe of my own money. There was a time when I took $100,000 to Zimbabwe to invest, and I watched that money sink to nothing. That is what happened. When I was in the banking sector in Zimbabwe, I used to understand the way the share market worked in Zimbabwe. One day I would go and buy a share and make $2,000 within 2 days. So that was during inflation. So there are people who are making money right now. There are people who are losing money right now. You just have to be in the right direction. But unfortunately, overall, we're all losing. Our country is becoming worse and worse on a daily basis. And Mnangagwa remains unchallenged. There is no one who's challenging Mnangagwa right now at a political level. There's no one who's standing up to say, why is our currency dropping by 400%? So that is from 13 to 45 to 90 within 3 months or 4 months. These are the things that no one is challenging. You need a strong political force. But right now we are going to get a military intervention. That is what is going to happen next in Zimbabwe. Then Mkoma Thomas says, Gambakwe Mnangagwa is not going anywhere. The guy is even planning to go for 3rd term as we speak. Listen to me, Mkoma, when I speak. You will see what is going to happen within the next 3 months. It's going to be shocking. And guys, please agree that I was right. If you go on the internet, you'll see a video where I'm like this. It's called the parabolic. Yeah, so parabolic. The day I saw the zig, I knew it. That it was going to crash. And then Mkoma Nakata says, Kwadiri kundifadza kudaro naye Gambakwe. What did 3 months? Yes, Mkoma, in 3 months, Mnangagwa will be gone. But I did say things will get better. Things will get worse before they get better. Where we are going now, there is a period that is coming where people are going to beg for Mnangagwa to come back. I've said this in the past. There is going to be so much strife among our people. And before things settle, they are going to get very, very bad. And prepare for that period. Prepare for that period when things are not going to go well. Because there are many players who want to be on top. And it's not going to be easy. Whoever is going to be on top is going to be willing or must be willing to crush everyone else. So that is what is going to happen. It's not going to be simple. Right, I would like to thank all of you for watching. I think when you kafunge, reader, you understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking anything new here. The only thing I'm doing is giving you things before they happen. So every day when I speak, I want to give you the way I speak. I speak about only the top people. So you never see me talking about people down on the ground. And I speak about things that have not happened, that are coming around the corner. That is what I do. And because I understand, I've lived in Zimbabwe, I'm one of the few people who you see. Of all the people that are on the media in Zimbabwe, I'm one of the few people that have worked in all the sectors in Zimbabwe. I've worked in the bank, and I'm not talking about the bank at the front. I literally worked in the system side of the bank. So I know what happens. There is a thing that we used to call end of day. That is what I used to do when I started working in the bank. And when we talk of end of day, that is the moment when banks go to their mainframes and then they understand what happened. Long back, banks would only know the next day what happened the last day. So you find out that this branch didn't balance, that branch didn't balance, that account is sitting with the wrong amount of money. But what guys are doing now, what we call banning, is between the period between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Anything that happens there is not transparent to the Reserve Bank. So that is where all the games are taking place. That is where banning takes place. An account is created and it's funded, it's used to buy forex, and then it's deleted before the end of the day. It happens in many, many forms. And the people that are doing this are not ordinary people that you're chasing on the street. They're not the person that is taking 10,000 to buy medicine outside of the country. It's the big players. So the big players who are living with their money. And if you are a big player and you're sitting there not moving, you will see what is going to happen. You're going to lose everything. This is what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. People are going to lose massive amounts of money if they don't move very, very quickly. Because this situation is going to pretend to correct. So that is called a fake move. You're going to see a fake move within the next day or two, which is as if the SIG is responding and it's getting stronger. Then as you go this way, it's going to go the other way. And that is what we call a parabolic. And the Reserve Bank, Mnangagwa, if he's clever, he's going to do what I said. Just go there and say, guys, this thing didn't work. Get rid of this ZIG. It's only 200 million anyway, on paper. But right now it's billions and billions. So get rid of that ZIG and cut your losses right now. If Mnangagwa doesn't cut his losses right now, the situation is going to get even worse. So once again, you've lost your pensions. I've lost my pensions. And when I have to start again from scratch. And we, the people, are the losers. So I would like to thank all of you for watching. I think I tended to speak a lot today. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. as we look at all the trending news. Unfortunate situation in our country, but well predicted by myself and a lot of other people. But I think the word parabolic is now common in our country. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching.